Welcome to this week's episode of the Lido Loop. I am your host, Jack McCraw. With me, as always, my good friend, Jesse Barboza. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing great. Definitely not as good as that person who won a lot of money in Vegas.
Yeah, so for those that haven't seen, a person on a layover in Las Vegas had a little bit of extra free time and went to a slot machine, put $10 in, and ended up winning $3.3 million. Now, Jesse, if you won that much money, are you going on your next flight, or are you just going to have a little bit of more fun money to spend now?
Yeah, it definitely makes you wonder, like, what was the next, like, what was she going to, her final destination? You know, did it say in the article by chance?
No, it didn't. I imagine that...
Like, if it was a work thing, I mean, like, forget the work thing.
Yeah, what if they're just coming home? And you and I kind of talked off air about this. You've actually played that Wheel of Fortune game, haven't you?
Yeah, it was probably the exact same Wheel of Fortune game, too, because it was actually my first time in Vegas, like 4 or 5 years ago, I think it was. Coming back, I actually had a good time in Vegas. I actually was up like about $300, I think. And then I was like, let me play this Wheel of Fortune while we're waiting for our flight out. And I think I did the minimum bet at the time. It was like 75 cents or $1.50. And I won $100 first spin. So I was like, I cashed out and I left.
So apparently this is not the first time that's happened, because there was another time in May of 2025, another traveler won $1.8 million on the Wheel of Fortune in Airport's D gates. So it's
got to be Wheel of Fortune. It's got the Wheel of Fortune.
I think I have a new favorite game. Forget Buffalo, forget Dragon Link. I think Wheel of Fortune is the way to go.
Hey, you got to add that Buffalo sound right now.
Buffalo! Hey, ask and you shall receive. And who's to say that this can't happen to us in the future? $10 is all it takes to win $3.3 million. I would spend a lot of $10 million just to even get a chance at that.
But it probably didn't say how much they put in the machine. They probably put $2 million in the machine.
Yeah, that's the thing they're not telling us. It's like, this guy spent the last amount of his money and then somehow walks away with $3.3 million. He could be operating at a net loss. We don't know.
Can you imagine all the people who are like leaving Vegas after losing so much money and mad at this one person? They're just on a layover and they won all this money. Could you imagine?
I mean, the most I've seen on a Vegas slot machine is like $10,000 on a dollar bet for one of the Dragon Link games. So
actually, didn't we see something like that in Lake Charles, right?
We did, yes. I mean, So look, when we go to casinos, people win, just not us.
Yeah, that's the thing. Just have us with you. We'll make you win. But we won't win.
In any group setting, I feel like there's always one person that comes away on top, except that last time we went to Lake Charles, we all just lost. But hey, someone was there to win because of our bad luck. But where we do have good luck is on cruises. Now, Jesse, what's the latest and greatest in the cruise world?
Yeah, so I got 3 stories this week. The first thing is there was a lot of art purchased by a guest. And Celebration Keys get an upgrade. And Carnival rolls out their milestone rewards.
Yeah, the rewards is going to be a very interesting story. Can't wait to talk about that. In the theme park travel news side of things, Universal Kids has finally opened up, but have the reviews gotten better? Jesse and I are going to discuss that. Tormenta has now officially soft opened and has announced a new official opening date, finally at Six Flags Over Texas. And Frontier is both cutting flights and offering lower price flights, and we'll tell you what that means for your potential next cruise or next vacation. And then Jess and I are going to break down some of our favorite cruise hacks. That and much more on this week's episode of the
Lido Loop.
So for those of you new here, we are the Lido Loop, where we talk about all things cruising, theme parks, travel, casinos, and much, much more. And we always like to start the show with the latest and greatest in the cruise world. Now, Jesse, I'm hearing that there was someone who bought a bunch of paintings, or excuse me, art rather, at one of the art shows on a cruise ship. Now, you and I have been on these, cruise ships. I don't think I've ever been in there for more than 5 minutes max. What was a person's end goal in all this? Like, do they just want to buy all the art and just take it home with them?
Yeah, this is a story. So actually, a guy named Jack, he actually called into
not me, the different Jack.
Yeah, not you, or may have been you.
We'll find. You'll find out at the end of the episode.
No, a guy named Jack, he called into the Ramsey show asking for advice because apparently his mother, who whose husband just died not that long ago, went on 6 or 7 cruises, and they spent a whopping $1.1 million on cruise art. Now, Jack, do you think $1.1 million is appropriate amount to spend on cruise art?
If you're a museum, sure. I have some art in my household. I'm not gonna buy art on a cruise ship. If I'm gonna buy a majestic piece of painting, it's not gonna be some carbon copy that they sell overpriced at a cruise ship. And assuming it's Carnival. Those things they might have some unique paintings, but everything there has just been a photocopy that they put to make it look like an art form. So no, $1.1 million. What did Dave Ramsey say about that? Did he just hang up the phone on him immediately?
No. He first said that he feels like, because apparently this caller actually said that their mother was actually, before he died, they actually saved money like all the time, so they never spent any extra money. I guess she might be like in grief still, so that's maybe why she spent all this money. But they spent so much money that the amount of art was taking up rooms in their house. And Dave Ramsey actually said 2 options he gave them. First, to call the cruise line and try to, like, for good press purposes, like, hey, purchase it back at the same price they sold it for, so that, because since their mother was apparently going through something because her husband just died. And then the other thing said just selling it, but they tried selling it, but they were getting pretty much 10 cents on the dollar for it. So they may have gotten $200,000 max back.
I mean, I've been through grief before. I've never wanted to buy a bunch of paintings to cope with my grief. People grieve differently, so that is a very sad situation that woman had to go through, and make her feel this happiness buying all this cruise artwork. But that's a crazy story. I am surprised that Dave Ramsey was very calm about that and not just yelling. I mean, he'll yell at us for spending $8 on a cup of coffee, let alone buying a whole cruise.
Yeah,
going a cruise vacation, should say.
Yeah, he probably did end up yelling at her for even going on the cruise. Even though he offers his own cruise, he probably yelled at her for even going on the cruise.
And we've talked about that in a previous episode, where the Dave Ramsey cruise just sounds like something that he's just going to yell at everyone for going on this cruise and not saving their money doing something else. Yeah, that is definitely a crazy story. And cruise art, really, I mean, that $1.1 million could have spent getting better art pieces, in my opinion, instead of just cruise art, which we'll talk about a little bit later on in this show. But it's so funny because I walk past that all the time. It's never full. Like, that's normally the club that they have as an art show during the day, correct?
Yeah. It's normally a club,
or
yeah, exactly. But yeah, definitely let us know if you ever do buy this. Let us know on a YouTube channel or Facebook channel. Hey, if you do purchase art from it, do you feel like it's worth the value of it? We definitely want to know.
Yeah, I mean, there are other ways to spend your money on a cruise ship, and especially going to a place like Celebration Key, which I hear is getting an upgrade. Jesse, you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so Celebration Key just received a major expansion that pretty much is going to significantly increase the number of guests and ships to handle. The biggest upgrade is they added a pier expansion, which doubles the destination's docking capacities. So now, right now, before expansion, they could only hold up to 2 ships at a time on the dock. Now they can hold up to 4 cruise ships alongside. So with a bigger pier, they can now add 200 more ships visits every year, which is an additional 700,000 guests annually. So currently how the park is, they can hold 13,000 guests in a single day. So Jack, the one question I want to ask you is, when you were there, because me and you were there, what, about a year ago? Is that right? A little less than a year ago.
Yeah, it was October of
last year. Did you feel like it was crowded with the 2 ships that were there?
Honestly, no, not at all. Maybe certain places where like food, because we were pretty limited on as far as what food we could get, because we just ate from food trucks, and that was also the free food.
Yeah, which I hated because they didn't give you a drink with it. Like, if they give you, when I think of a free meal, would you think that a drink would come with it?
No, instead of just a free hot dog, like what we got, or I don't know if that's what you got. That's what I got.
I got I think the chicken strips and fries, and then I was about to get a drink, and I was like, it didn't include. I was like, I'm just gonna get the free water.
Yeah, I think I ended up just paying like whatever it was for a Coke, just so that way I could have something to wash down the hot dog. But I think that Celebration Key as a whole, like it looked like it was an unfinished product whenever we went, because the lagoon was perfectly like fine, and there was plenty of places to sit on the beach around the pier. And I know they also have their private beaches that we didn't go to, but it seemed like there wasn't as much to do. Like there was only that one slide complex with the blue marlin, the pink flamingo slide. I know we talked about it in our first episode, but it felt like an unfinished product. And you and I kind of also noted off air that it looks like there's so much room to expand, because this is on the Grand Bahamian Island, but the area surrounding Celebration Key is just undeveloped land.
Yeah, exactly. So I know they haven't given an official like opening date, but they are already working on the expansion project, which is supposedly supposed to double in size, which would make sense why they double in size the pier. So that means they have to double the size the park. So apparently the new park's going to be mainly water slides. So I think they're definitely competing against. They were originally going to compete against that Perfect Day Mexico. Remember, they were having like 6 slides. They were having a ton of slides. It was pretty much like a whole water park they're going to have. But they're also going to. I think they're still going to work on it here soon. Is actually because me and you noticed on the beach itself they had a bunch of rocks everywhere. They're supposed to be removing all those rocks, so it's a lot more family friendly, and you don't jam your toe.
Yeah, you don't have to go out and get water socks or flip flops just to go to the beach. But it does look like there's more coming to this island, and that's going to be really awesome. Especially, I think in that area too, isn't the Royal Caribbean? They have their own private island with like that massive water slide complex. I'm blanking on the name right now, and it's it's Carnival's answer to that. Like this is going to be their own Carnival's private destination island that, you go from Florida, or, you're going on the Jubilee in September, and you're going to go back to Celebration Key then. So it's going to be Carnival's main place that they're going to go to for ships that can go there.
Yeah, exactly. So, and they're actually going to be adding other cruise lines that are going to be going to this, which is still under the Carnival umbrella. So Princess and Aida will actually going to be expected to make the calls there too, which is pretty cool, I guess. But the biggest question I know I hear a lot of people say is, so everything that you purchase, like cruise line wise, all the excursions and all that, you have to purchase through the cruise line there. They don't have third party like they do in Mexico, where you go to like Mr. Sancho's or Paradise Beach. You have to purchase it through the cruise line. So the big question a lot of people are asking is, if there's 4 ships on board, how fast do you think those stuff is going to sell out?
Really fast. And especially because there's really not a whole lot to do there. I mean, the slide passes almost ran. I think they did run out when we actually were there. You could only buy them ahead of time.
Yeah, exactly. And that was just 2 ships, and we were on one of the smallest ships they had, which was we were in Gloria. Gloria at the time. That's right. We were in Gloria, which is one of their smaller ships. I don't remember. Do you remember the last ship that was? I don't remember.
I know, I don't. We'd have to go back in the archives for that one.
But there is a way that you can determine if the day you're in port, there's going to be 4 ships, and they could be like, if you had like Mardi Gras, Jubilee, and Celebration in port, those are 3 XL class ships. It'd be ridiculous, like the amount of people there. So there is an app called the Legend app, the Cruise Legend app. Actually, if you go to that port and you scroll down to that particular day that you're actually visiting that port, it'll tell you all the ships that are at that port, and it'll tell you the approximate amount of people that will be at that port too. So you can kind of make the decision like, hey, maybe I want to choose a different day or a different week when I'm cruising, because everything's probably going to be sold out. And that also makes you look at the excursion and say, hey, as soon as I book this cruise, you need to look at excursions and go ahead and purchase it ahead of time. Because I guarantee you, if you wait too long and you wait till you get on the ship, everything's going to be sold out. You won't be getting the cabana you want. You probably won't be getting the excursion that you want as well. So just make sure you definitely download that Legend app and and it'll definitely help you out.
It's almost like flight radar, but for cruises. That's one way we've talked about it off air.
Yeah, exactly. And the cool thing about that app too is also talks about the destinations you go in. So if you're going to Celebration Key, it talks about the highlights of it and what people like it, like how big of the area is. It talks about if you say Cozumel, says the same thing, or Roatan, or Nassau, wherever port it is, it tells you the good things, what you can do there, and like the great excursions to go on, and about the island too. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that sounds like definitely a worthwhile app to have, especially for any kind of big cruise planner. So in coming from the theme park side of things, it's like having the Disney or Universal app to help plan out your day, and it could tell you a little bit about the wait times and rides and whatnot, and place to go eat. So it's cool that cruises have something similar to this as well. And this isn't just Carnival, correct? This is multiple different cruise lines like Royal Caribbean, Norwegian, even Margaritaville.
Yeah. Any that app itself you can use is for all cruise lines, even cruise lines that you never heard of. They're on there, so it's really good to look at to see if you got a friend that's cruising at the same time, if they're going to end up meeting up, because that's what happened to us before. We were in Cozumel, and then my niece was actually on Jubilee at the time while we were on the Breeze, I want to say. And they ended up it was pretty cool that we ended up meeting up at the same spot in Cozumel.
And all this happened because of an app. So yeah, definitely download that app, everybody. And especially if you're a big ahead of time planner and like to kind of book things out, like this app. Can you remind our audience what that app is called again, Jesse?
It's called the Cruise Legend app.
So download that Cruise Legend app today. They're not a sponsor of this show yet, but for any of those great cruise travelers, definitely worth the app. Now, how about the Carnival milestone rewards, Jesse? What's the newest and latest and greatest info about that?
Yeah, so the current policy, how it is right now, is once you go on your first 25 cruises or 50 cruises, they'll give you a milestone, like they'll give you a free gift or you get something.
You get a little badge or something? Or
you get a badge, and then after you hit 100 cruises or 50, I forgot how many cruises it is, they'll actually give you a free cruise. So the new rewards is going to be based on days sailed instead, starting in September when the Carnival rewards actually kicks off. So with 50 days sail, you'll get you'll get 5,000 additional Carnival rewards points. You'll get a special sell and sign card. With 100 days, you will get the same stuff, but you'll get 10,000 Carnival reward points, a special sell and sign card, onboard recognition, which I'm guessing they'll say something about it. I don't know. Exactly.
It's like they'll have your name displayed on there and says, "Welcome, Jesse."
Yeah, and that sounds fun. They also have a commemorative coin, and they'll also give you a milestone onboard credit. So it doesn't really say exactly what it is. Like maybe if it's $100, like if it's a 100-day sale, maybe it's $100 you'll get on board, like the amount of days, I'm guessing. I don't know.
Now, can you use this at the casino? That's the most important thing.
Yeah. I mean, onboard credit, yeah. I mean, Maddie can use it too. So.
Yeah. She's not going to do Buffalo anymore. She's found a new game, apparently Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah. Which we all are. So with 200 to 400 days cruise and every 100 afterwards, you're going to get print the same stuff as the 100, and you also get, actually it's the exact same thing. Looking at it, you actually get the exact same stuff. But it really changes when you get to the 500 plus, and then every 100 days you'll get the same stuff, where you'll get the same stuff as previously, but you also get a commemorative award and a gift. The gift is actually going to be a $1 gift from the dollar store.
Oh my goodness!
No, I'm kidding.
I was gonna say.
No, I'm kidding.
Give me at least a towel plushie to go home with, or
no,
something.
a lot of times it's really not that big. It uses like a tumbler or like a backpack. It's something that honestly under $10 they're gonna give you. So
of course,
really, so with 500 days you'll spend probably $1 million to go on them. But hey, you will have that fanny pack.
I was gonna say you realize 500 days is a little under 2 years, correct? That's 365 times. I mean, that's an insane amount of days to sail.
Yeah, if you're at 500, you're probably you're
probably living on cruise ships at this point.
Yeah, you're probably either been cruising since the 50s or you're literally living on these cruise ships. So I mean, hey, I could do that. in 2 years myself if I had the money, but I have this thing called a job. So
I mean, I think I have less than 30 cruise days in my entire lifetime, let alone like 500. I mean, I might not get to 100 in this lifetime, but hey, wait, with that kind of attitude, you never know. But it is nice that Carnival is rewarding these people for like day sail instead of just cruises, because I mean, 100 cruises, that's seemingly impossible. I mean, we do have friends that go on cruises very frequently, so it's definitely something that they can look out for as far as going on with all these multiple cruises, and even like those short like 3-day sails that you can at least add 3 days that way really quickly and keep adding towards that total.
And I think it was last week we talked about how they changed the orientation of the sell and sign card Carnival is.
Yeah, it went from, what'd you say, TikTok? It went from YouTube to TikTok, was that what you said?
Yeah, exactly. So now it's more vertical. So no matter what, they still are going to have the day sale at the bottom. So even if not in between, if you're at 50 or 100, even if you're at 10 days, it's still going to say that 10-day sale on the bottom, which is, I guess, cool. It tells the newbies, from the people who've been cruising like as long as I have.
So when you're at the craps table and you see someone that says 3-day sale, like no, when they're rolling the dice, we're not trusting that person.
Yeah, you can take advantage of those people.
Yeah, that's called hustling right there. Or the ones that are at the bar and they have like 2 or 3 day sale, like, oh, first time. Wait till their drink package runs out, then we'll talk. But yeah, it's certainly very interesting that Carnival is trying to roll out these new rewards. I remember the last time we've talked about the Carnival rewards, we weren't that thrilled by it, but it does seem like it's getting a little bit better. They're winning you back a little bit.
I'm still not chasing rewards. I'm still going to be chasing whatever I want to go to, whatever cruise line I want to go to. It seems like I'm going towards Carnival more often because the price and the amount of fun and the food is honestly, I mean, there's no cruise line I don't think can beat Carnival when it comes to the amount of food variety. I mean,
Guy's Burgers alone makes Carnival worth it.
Exactly. And yeah, I can put up with the fights and everything else that happens on board as long as I get my Guy's Burger.
The one thing I will say about Carnival, put the comedy shows in the big auditorium, because I'm tired of the comedy shows like running out of room in like it's 30 minutes before the show starts.
It's kind of like the piano bar too. Like the first night of the piano bar. It's
you can't find a seat.
Yeah, exactly. Usually by the end of the cruise, everyone's like, we've already listened to
They're
Journey.
hungover,
We listened to
yeah.
Journey for the 20th time. We don't want to hear them, so they don't even go anymore. By the end of it, there's like 5 people. But the first couple of nights, they probably need to make it a little bit bigger. It seems like.
Yeah, like that's a good way to promote it too. I think we did see one comedy show in the big theater, and it was the family friendly comedy show.
Yeah,
and that's kind of to promote it, so that way you can go to the other theater.
Yeah,
but yeah, I've never truly had a problem with Carnival. Like it's not get what you pay for, because essentially you're getting more than you pay for with all the food that you get and all the entertainment offerings you get, if they will.
And in reality, have me and you have ever seen a fight actually on the ship?
No, we see it on social media, but
I
think we said on a previous one, we had some guy escorted off of a basketball court because he refused to leave, but the security pretty much just said, "Hey, please leave," and they walked away with him.
Yeah, exactly. So that pretty much covers all the cruise news. So in theme park and travel news, so Universal Kids have finally opened here in Texas. Have the reviews changed at all?
Yes and no. I know that's kind of a loaded question, but from people's initial expectations, it doesn't look like a Universal park. It looks like a carnival, like in your local, church parking lot that just happens to be themed to different, intellectual properties like Minions, SpongeBob, Jurassic Park, Puss in Boots. But it does look like Universal is listening, because they're adding more paint to make it a little bit more colorful. But yeah. I'm saying like they're trying. But
that's like a cheap fix, right there.
Right, that's all you need to do, because a lot of the people saying the park just looks too gray and there's not a lot of shade. Like they planted trees, but it's going to take a couple years for those trees to grow to give that natural shade. So, early on, I think this park is just going to go through some growing pains. But the attractions also really didn't help. I mean, you and I have talked about that Shrek attraction where you pass like 5 cardboard cutouts of Shrek's adventures with Fiona, Donkey, and Dragon.
Hey, it has some major drops on the ride.
Yeah, like 0.0000001 degree drop. That's the drop when you first get in the car before it takes off.
That's the scariest part of the ride.
Oh man, the memes write themselves for that. But It will eventually look better. I mean, it does look like that most of their budget went to the hotel because the hotel itself it is a pretty nice hotel. It's family friendly, and
Is it like a themed hotel?
yeah, you can go into the rooms and
What do you know the name of the hotel by chance?
it's just Universal Kids Resort Hotel.
Oh, okay. So do you think that they would have characters in the hotel as well?
Yes, I believe there is some meet and greet areas there, and I think that there's like the rooms, they'll have like cardboard cutouts of like Shrek. I know that sounds actually kind of scary to have like Shrek just standing there watching you sleep. But with this particular hotel, it looks like that's where the majority of the budget went because most of these attractions are like off the shelf, like mini roller coasters with one dinosaur animatronic for Jurassic Park. The Puss in Boots ride is just your typical swing chair ride. They have a mini drop tower that's painted to look like DNA from Jurassic Park.
So what's the anchor like ride you feel like at this park?
It has to be that Minions versus Minions like water raft ride. It looks pretty nice for a water raft ride.
But I mean, do you think I guess it would still be open, you think, during wintertime?
That's the thing. I don't know because we are in the Houston area, so it doesn't get too cold. It sometimes does, but Dallas, DFW, Fort Worth area,
It snows more there than here, I guess.
So I mean, I think Universal Kids might be a seasonal park, and maybe open on certain weekends, and maybe they'll have like Christmas overlays. That's still to be determined, but it definitely looks like if this is Universal's first entrance into Texas, it's kind of going with a meh instead of a resounding, oh my goodness, we need to add more parks.
Yeah, I could definitely see this park doing good long term if they had like an anchor park as well. Like if they built their own adult and older kids park. I feel like, what do you think? Do you feel like, because then they will have a spot for the kids, and like they would offer like once you get admission here, you can also get free admission to this park or something.
Oh,
like
absolutely. Because I think that was initially their end goal, because where they built it in Frisco, there is a lot of land up there that they could still develop into a full-on theme park. And I think you could have the kids park and you could have the regular park. And I think at some point this is just me like spitballing ideas out here. You can have some sort of pathway where you can go to both parks in one day, like kind of have a park hopper option. Frisco was an interesting choice. I know that it's a very heavily developed area where the Cowboys have their headquarters there. Dallas's Major League Soccer team plays up there. It's a very high tech industry. Like there's minor league teams in that area. A lot of people are moving to that area of Dallas.
Do you think they built that because it's, of course, northern Texas? Do you think it's so that they can try to get people from like Oklahoma and neighboring states, not just Texans?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when we work down here in the Houston area, I still see billboards for our Universal Kids because you have to take I-45 north to get to there. So I've seen plenty of advertisements advertising it. So it's not necessarily. It's made for kids, I think, is the ultimate statement that I could make about this park. And I mean, they specifically say that this is not a Universal park. This is for kids ages 3 to 8. You have your nieces and nephews; they might enjoy it more than your actual kids.
So how big is this compared to a normal like Universal park?
So this one is 32 acres, and for perspective, Islands of Adventure is nearly 100 acres. So think about it,
over 3 times the size.
Yeah, exactly. So it's definitely a much smaller park, and you easily could get through it in an hour or two. And there really isn't a whole lot of rides, so I imagine that crowding could be a big factor in that. And the fact that they didn't have a dark ride in the summertime is definitely a questionable choice.
So do you feel like there's Universal like offering like discounts to parents? Because honestly, parents aren't riding these rides. Is that correct? I mean, some of them probably maybe, but are they going to have to pay full price for a ticket compared to like a kid?
Well, kids' tickets are always going to be a little bit cheaper. So the last I checked, it was around $50 a ticket for both adults and I believe kids was just a little bit cheaper, maybe like $30 to $40. So it is kind of a not great deal in my opinion, but unless you have young children. I have seen influencers go out there and with no kids and say that they still had fun, but this park is specifically made to entertain younger kids.
Yeah, see, like to me, of course, it wouldn't be worth it because my kids are a little older, and I'm still, of course, a young dad, And going to like Universal, I enjoyed the rides probably just as much, maybe even more than the kids.
I know you were pushing other kids out of the way to get in the front of the line for Velocicoaster.
Exactly. I mean, hey, that is the best coaster.
I mean, it's up there in my top 2 with Iron Rattler. To clarify, so it's $49.99 plus tax for a 1-day ticket, and that is for adults and or kids.
Oh, so it's the same price no matter who you are.
Correct. So a family of 4, you're looking to spend about $200 to go.
Is there like an age limit? Like if you're under a certain age, you get in free?
I believe it's 2 and under they get in for free, because if this park really is made for, guess 3 to 8, so those younger kids, I mean, they can still do things. I mean, what can a kid 2 and under really do at a theme park to begin with? But
just cry.
Yeah, just cry. ruin it for everybody. No. But if you're a parent wanting to take your kids to Universal Kids, I would just definitely do your research, watch some YouTube videos, show them to see if this rides would be interested. If they would be interested in these rides, or check out our Facebook page where we do post about, cruising and theme park news, including Universal Kids.
So another ride that actually opened at Six Flags was Tormenta. They apparently had a soft opening already.
Yes. So as of right now, you can ride Tormenta Rampaging Run at Six Flags Over Texas as long as you have a season pass. So what it is right now, it's technical rehearsal. So the official opening date of Tormenta is July 9th, which is only 2 weeks after it was announced that they were going to open this attraction. It was supposed to open on June 26th. July 9th. It's a little weird that it was pushed by 2 weeks. I can't imagine that there was anything very wrong with it to push it, but I think they just want to get a little more test in. And it looks like you can now be the testing dummy, Jesse, because as long as you have that pass, you can ride it, and it's under what they call technical rehearsal. So sometimes it'll be open, sometimes it won't. But hey, would you do that if just to preview the ride a little early?
Hey, yeah. I mean, I am willing to make the sacrifice.
All for the content, all for the good of the channel.
Hey, if I die or whatever,
at least you're riding Tormenta.
Exactly. At least I'm riding Tormenta.
At least you're riding the world's tallest drop tower, which, I can't wait to go out there and ride eventually. I plan on making a trip back to Six Flags Over Texas sometime this summer, get some more content for the YouTube and Facebook channel. So I'm excited that the date's finally here. I won't be there opening day, but I'll definitely make that trip up there either sometime this month or next month.
So I hear that Frontier is now offering lower flights.
Yes, so it's actually a little bit of a double-edged sword. So Frontier is restructuring in the sense that they're cutting down, smaller flights, but they're kind of focusing more on certain destinations where Spirit used to be. So cities that they're cutting: Corpus Christi, Knoxville, San Martin, Sarasota, Spokane, and San Jose in Costa Rica. So, destinations we normally wouldn't otherwise go to. I'm surprised Corpus Christi even has Frontier Airlines.
I think the only cruise destination on there would be the San Jose for Frontier. There's very few cruises that actually those mainly a ship that the ships go there. That's not the embarkation port, so you really wouldn't be flying there anyways.
Yeah, and this all comes about where other airlines are trying to pick up where Spirit essentially left off. So some of them include Atlanta, where Delta Airlines is, essentially just taking over where Spirit left off, and they want to be the predominant airline, that hub, which they already are. They're just kind of doubling down on that. American Airlines is, adding more flights out of Charlotte, Dallas, Fort Worth, Miami, Philadelphia, and then United, of course, is, trying to add more flights to Denver and Houston. So, Frontier is being affected by this because these larger airlines they can charge kind of whatever they want and still be able to, make a profit. They could charge more, people still pay for them. These other budget airlines like Frontier, and then a little bit other ones, including Allegiant, are trying to have to diversify their portfolio a little bit, where Frontier now is more so focusing on the leisure destinations, kind of like what Spirit is. So, a lot of tropical island destinations, and then the touristy areas like Vegas and Orlando.
So do you feel like that since Spirit has gone out of business, that Frontier's price have changed, either up or down? How do you feel like?
They're fluctuating. They're fluctuating a little bit higher, but Frontier is offering certain discounts. So I've noticed this when looking at flights. If you look on weekends, they tend to be a little bit higher. And we'll kind of talk a little bit more about that on the cruising hacks about finding better flights. But if you look on weekdays, they're generally cheaper. In a sense, like you're looking on a Tuesday or looking on a Wednesday, not just looking for flights that happen out on those particular days. So it's just more about to see what's out there. Because as of right now, if you do look for most destinations in America, Frontier is the cheapest option, even if it is like a $200 flight from here to Los Angeles or wherever.
Frontier or probably Allegiant is too pretty cheap. I know.
Yeah, Allegiant, and there's also
I think JetBlue. Some of them are now. Am I completely off?
Yeah, JetBlue is also another budget one. There's another fast growing one called Breeze Airways that's kind of taken up where Spirit left off. I mean, the days of like $30 flights to Miami are kind of gone now at this point, though.
And same with to Vegas too. I'm sure.
I miss those days.
I still remember the time when me and my wife went to Vegas. Like it was like under $90 round trip for me and my wife. It was like crazy.
I know, it's like we're living in 2026, and sadly we lose Spirit, and now we have to pay full price for airlines. Gosh,
where does this world come to?
This is why the Lido Loop is here, to help make your travel a little bit easier and trying to find you those better flights. So yeah, it's just something to look out for as far as looking for the better deals. Because yes, even though Frontier is losing some of its airports, they are going to have more to these leisure destinations. So especially if you're a cruiser, Fort Lauderdale was predominantly owned by Spirit. I imagine Frontier is going to be planting their flag, and other airlines. I think JetBlue is really stepping up their game for Fort Lauderdale as well.
I mean, someone has to, because the impact that Spirit had. It's like the demand is still there, right? And it's not like the demand disappeared, right?
Yeah, it's just because it just became too expensive for Spirit to operate at the business model that they were trying to do. It's not out of the realm of possibility for Spirit to come back. I wouldn't count on that, though. I mean, unless some multi-billionaire decides I want to bring Spirit back and to its glory.
Wasn't there like a TikToker or YouTuber that tried to bring it back, or they actually got a lot of money? I don't remember how many.
They had I think it was like $300 million plus in commitments. So I mean, hey, if this guy keeps doing what he's doing, he can save Spirit.
Yeah, go to the Spirit auction and buy all the planes, and then.
That's
as of right now, though, it's still a Spirit.
And he'll rest in peace. Well, we're going to go ahead and transition over to some of our cruise hacks. So one of the first things that, you and I, when we first started getting into cruising, was we were watching YouTube videos and just, kind of see the ship's layout, what there is to do. Would you say that's a pretty good idea before you go on a cruise ship to kind of get a feel of how it is visually?
Yeah, absolutely. So pretty much if there's a ship like this Carnival Jubilee, I've already been on the ship, but if you look at my search history on YouTube, it is Carnival Jubilee. Even though I've been on the ship, I always just like to watch the videos and see like new stuff that they added and how it changed from year to year, because stuff on the ship do change.
Well, because you went on the Jubilee, was it 2024 or no? It was 25, early 25 last year, correct?
Yeah, I think it was like April last year. It was March or April last year I went, and I had a blast. It was a great ship.
Yeah, I think YouTube videos, they're definitely, even not from a cruising perspective, but like any sort of travel aspect, it kind of gives you a lay of the land. Even when we went to Washington, D.C., I was saying like, okay, this is where you should park, or, oh, this is where, the best museums to go to.
Yeah, that probably would help you with parking.
Yeah, I still hit the poll regardless. We'll talk about that story another day.
But yeah, definitely YouTube videos definitely give you a good layout of all the ships, and there's so much stuff that I learned watching YouTube video. Like when I was on Seascape, I learned about how the elevators work, how they were destination elevators. So if there were 3 people in your party, you hit that floor 3 times. So it was a smart elevator, so it kind of told you exactly like what elevator to get onto. But a lot of people didn't know that, so what was happening is if there's 10 people waiting for the elevator, they would push the button one time, and when it came down, there wasn't enough room for 10 people. There's only enough room for one person because it was a smart elevator.
I've never heard of that. Is that a European thing?
No, it's actually, and a lot of the newer ships are getting that way. I'm surprised Jubilee hasn't.
So what happens if a kid just hits it like 10 times? Like, I want to go. It's going to think that there's going to be 10 people coming up there?
Yeah, exactly. But you may have a little bit longer wait time because of that. So it's not in your best interest to do that. But if you only put 1 and there's 10 people, then you're definitely not getting on this because there's not enough room.
If that happens, just take the stairs at that point.
Hey, that's what I like about the smaller ships. Jubilee's a little bit bigger, or even Seascape or Icon class, or any of those ships. But it's kind of hard to take the elevator when there's 20 steps you're going through, or 20 flights of stairs. It's a little bit more difficult. I mean, yeah, you'll get a workout and you burn off all the food you've been eating.
The worst is after dinner when like everyone like leaves kind of around the same time after the dinner show, and it's like, you know what, I'm just gonna go walk up these stairs. Especially, most of the time, it's just been my bad luck. I've been on like the second or third floor, so I don't have to travel too far to get there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Another good hack is magnetic hooks. Now, is this more so for decorating purposes or functional purposes?
A little bit of both, definitely. Because as a lot of people, they might not know that all the walls in your cruise cabin and most cabin doors are also metal, like steel. So they're all magnetic. So it's really great because you can put these little magnetic hooks. They sell them on Amazon, and you hang your lanyard or some of these, they got strong, like the rare earth magnets to actually hold a lot of stuff. And there's multiple things you'll even hold a purse, a bag, a swimsuit that's drying or something like that. But they are a great investment. If they're super cheap, you can buy probably 10 of them under $5 or at least under $10, But they're great for decorating your door, because a lot of the cruise lines, I know we talked about a couple, they were kind of putting restrictions on cabin door decorations, but magnetics you can put it around and it won't damage the door or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely worth it, especially if you need a little bit more space and need to hang things up instead of having everything on the floor. Or because you can even use these in the restroom, correct?
Yeah, you use it anywhere. Anything you need to like hold something up, it's great. I've seen some people even hold like a mini fan up above them so that they got like air blown on them.
Oh, that's smart, because when I had that really bad bed on the top of the interior cabin, it gets really hot up there, regardless of what floor you're on. Another thing that I didn't know until the day of the cruise is a refillable cup, because I had a coffee cup with me, and you asked me if I have a refillable cup. I said no, so I poured the coffee out and like, whoop, I got one now.
Yeah, it's always great to have a refillable cup, especially the ones that have like the drink package. Like, always get the drink package like in Galveston. But the things about Galveston, the drink package with Carnival, at least, doesn't start the first day. I don't know why. They say it's because the state won't allow it, but everyone else does, so I don't know why.
It's a Texas thing. We're just different.
Yeah, exactly. But anyways, so it is definitely great because you saw how small the cups are that they provide. Those little yellow cups that hold like exactly a shot of water or juice.
A shot of water. That's funny.
But
But
yeah, the first day is great because you can go in there and fill it up with water, ice and water one time, and you don't have to worry about going 20 times to refill it. And plus, you can, even if you're like going off the ship, who says you can't fill it up with margaritas, and get off
bring
the
it back on the ship?
Yeah, I mean, I ain't gonna lie. A lot of times they make you pour stuff out when getting back on the ship, but
the staggering on the dock will definitely like give your intoxicated state away, not just what's in your cup.
Hey, it's the waves. It's not the alcohol.
yeah. No. It's the motion of the ocean at that point. Another thing that's good to bring is Ziploc bags or trash cans. So, Ziploc bags, first thing I think of is like, you're at the buffet or you're at a dining, restaurant, and you don't finish it. You can just put it in a Ziploc bag to go.
Yeah, I guess some people will do that. Like if they want like a little midnight pizza.
Yeah, I mean, it's not open after midnight anymore. What's going on, Pirate Pizza?
Exactly. But a lot of this, there's multiple that you could do for food and stuff like that. I really don't use it for food because honestly, there's so much food around. Like I'll just get fresh, me personally. But it's really good for the Ziploc bags to like organization, and like say you get like wet clothes, like when you go to the pool and you get like your shirt got wet by accident. You don't want to mix it with your regular clothes because it's going to get all your clothes wet. So it's good to have a little Ziploc bag to put stuff in, and also it kind of like a waterproof thing too. So like if you go to the beach, you can put your phone, your wallet, and stuff like that in, so you don't have to worry about it actually like getting wet and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. And trash bags would be more so if you have more clothes, or it's not exactly a classy way of storing things, but I mean it can be essential for any kind of like room storage, or even just you need to throw stuff away.
Yeah, absolutely. I think trash. Yeah, exactly. The reason it's a trash bag is because it holds a lot more, especially at the end of the cruise. I don't care who you are. At the end of the cruise, there's going to be a ton of wet clothes. You're going to have like a beach towel or something, that spilt on something. If you have kids, you're definitely going to have like 50 things that are wet. So it's definitely trash bags good to throw it all in, just take it off the ship like that and wash it at home.
And also, you just never know when they might be able to have it. I mean, we did kind of bring up swimsuits a little bit, and that's something that you've told me before. Our cruises is always bring at least 2 swimsuits because if you bring one and you're in the pool, it's not going to be ready for the next day when you go to any sort of destination where you require a swimsuit. So I would say even depending on your cruise, maybe even longer, but 2 should be the minimum for swimsuits, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think 2 should definitely be the minimum. Honestly, I would probably push for more of 3. I usually bring 2 because I like to backpack most of my trips. But 2 swimsuits are definitely important because, like you said, you go to the pool now, no one wants to put on a wet swimsuit the next day. You want it to have time to dry. It usually takes at least a day for it to dry out completely, right? Especially because I know a lot of the showers, they got that little like clothesline, I guess you can call it, and you kind of hang your clothes on so they dry. I mean, that's kind of the only way to really dry it. Or you can actually use the onboard laundry service, but I ain't gonna lie. Usually, I just hang myself out. And
Yeah, I don't think I've ever done laundry on a cruise ship. I know some people have, especially if you go on a longer cruise. It might be in your best interest to have those clean clothes instead of just like re-wearing the same thing or bringing 2 suitcases full of clothes. So yeah, I would say 2 swimsuits is good, and also a reusable straw. So yeah, because they don't have actual straws on the cruise ship, correct? Because you have to drink out of a cup.
Or in Carnival, they don't have reusable straws. MSC, for some reason, they actually do, which I think is great. I love actually having real straws, real straws. But on Carnival, you either have to drink directly out of the cup, like without a straw, or they give you like this sugar straw.
Yeah.
It's like, there's different like lime ones. I'm not gonna lie, I actually kind of like it, but it does kind of suck when you're drinking a drink and you get this flimsy sugar straw that like is like pretty much falling apart. So either drink your drink faster or get a reusable straw. And me personally, I get this like a reusable straw. It's like a bendable one, and it goes in this little pouch that attaches to my lanyard.
So that's just easy access right there.
Yeah,
you get your margarita and you just pull it out and just put it in.
Yeah, exactly. And then the next item actually on the list, I do the same thing with the travel size Germex. So I always they have a little thing that attaches to a lanyard also as well. And so we have like my cruise card, my reusable straw, and then my Germex. Because Germex, I mean, every time you go on the buffet is always good, or anywhere before you eat, just put a little Germex there and rub your hands because everyone thinks
cruises are super spreaders. So the more sanitation that you can do for yourself, the better it is for everyone else overall.
Yeah, absolutely. But still, if you do have Germex, before you eat, please wash your hands because the norovirus the Germex will not kill the norovirus. You have to wash your hands. That's the only way to get rid of that.
Yeah, remember even during the COVID times that they shut down cruising for a while because it's just if someone's on there's nothing they can do. So I mean, yeah, the more that you sanitize, the better it is for you and everyone else. What also is good is free drinks, and we kind of talked about this earlier in the show with the art auctions, but people don't go to these just to buy, $1.1 million worth of art. You can actually get free champagne here, right, Jesse?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's kind of like one of those things that gets people in the door, I guess you can say, is they offer free champagne while you're bidding on the art. So if you have $1.1 million that you're going to spend on art, you get free champagne. It's kind of worth it, right?
We didn't tell Dave Ramsey that. Now I think then he'd actually say this woman was pretty smart because what if she drank, $1.1 million worth of champagne?
And you're right. That would be worth it then.
Also, another thing that we like to do is the 12-pack of soda or bring a bottle of wine on board, Jesse. I mean, tell us, the audience, a little bit as to, one, why we can do that, and two, how beneficial it is.
Yeah, so at least I know Carnival allows this. Carnival actually allows you to bring a 12-pack of soda on board. You can actually bring it when you stop at a port also. But you bring one pack of 12-pack of soda, and you can also bring up to 750 milliliters of wine on board as well. I know, like when we went to Port Canaveral, I know Maddie's, of course, has to have her Dr. Pepper, right? And they don't serve Dr. Pepper on board. So we stopped and she got a 12-pack of Dr. Pepper. Am I right?
I mean, yeah, it is a lot cheaper than buying the soda package for a 3-day cruise when you could just get a 12-pack of soda and just, she made it last the entire trip.
Yeah, exactly. So a 3-day cruise with 12-pack of soda is probably pretty good, even her.
Yeah, hey, 4 a day, that's perfect. That's all you need.
Yeah, exactly.
That's her drink limit.
Yeah, exactly. So it is definitely a way to save money. The only thing that kind of sucks, you got to kind of carry the soda around, or you got, oh, hey, you want a soda, you got to go all the way back to your room, But in the main dining room, they'll just give you a glass like it's nothing. They don't care, They really don't care that you brought your 12-pack. But me personally, I usually just make it easy and just buy the drink package for my kids, and I usually get the alcohol package every single time, so I don't have to worry about ever not having a drink in my hand.
So, just to clarify, you can get the drink package, and that includes the soda package, or do you have to get them separate?
So the drink package will include soda as well. I know on Carnival, for some reason, the soda package doesn't include bottled water, which doesn't make sense. I would think that it would include it. I mean,
Or it should be free, really.
It should be water. Yeah, bottled water. Yeah. So if you have the soda package, you still have to go and get your a tumbler or whatever, like a Yeti cup, and fill it up with actual water that's what you want. But with the Cheers package, which is the alcohol package, you will get bottled water and stuff like that included.
So yeah, I think it's really beneficial to bring that on board, just so that way you have a little bit of variety in case you want to save a little money and not buy the soda package. Other things, we can kind of go over them a little quicker, is like over-the-door shoe organizer, especially, girls that want to bring a lot of different shoes. I'm a Crocs guy. But having that option could be beneficial. But more so, how about medication? So for me, I need to bring at least Pepto, C-bands, which is those little wristbands that you wear on the ship, and some sort of Dramamine for my first day, just so I can get my sea legs in. After that, then I'm good.
Yeah, exactly. We actually bring this thing. It's called like a pocket pharmacy. I know you've gotten stuff from us many times on cruises, but it's like a miniature thing that it actually if you order on Amazon, it actually has like little labels you can put on the actual thing, and it tells you exactly, like, if you got Tums, you always want Dramamine or Tylenol, anything. You would pretty much bring anything that could possibly happen. We bring it on board just in case something could happen, because you never know. Because if you have to go down to the medical for Tylenol, it's like $50. It's ridiculous. So it's way better just bring your own personal medication thing for anything that could happen.
Yeah, better to come prepared than not prepared at all. And kind of finally, the last thing we want to hit on is the cheap flights, or where to get these cheaper tickets. So if you're looking for different cruising destinations, especially Florida, so use Google Flights. That's how I've always booked any of my trips. It's just, Google Flights will tell you the cheapest days when you can fly out. Usually it's on like a Tuesday or a Wednesday to a Saturday or a Sunday. I understand most of these cruise ships are, even a 3-day would be a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, come back, or on Monday. Some cruises, go out on Monday, come back Saturday. But you can look into flights first and then book your cruise, for vice versa, where if you look to the cruise first, then you kind of have to try to hope and see if those flights line up for you.
Yeah, exactly. Because typically, of course, when me and you book a cruise, we always do it the opposite way, right? We always go and book a cruise, and we try to find flights, and we're always like, man, it's too expensive. Sometimes the flights are more expensive than the actual cruise. Am I right?
Yeah, we got lucky when we went to Orlando last year. It's because we went kind of during the off season in October, so we were able to, for the most part, get relatively cheap Spirit flights, which, we can't have Spirit anymore, but you do run that risk of, there's a $30 cruise, or excuse me, $300 cruise out of Miami for a 3-day, but your flight could be $300 each for that particular weekend in Miami because Dolphins could be in town or some festival, whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. So it's definitely good to look at, that's another thing, good to look at what's going on in that town, especially like Miami, the big cruise ports, what's going on. If there's a big festival going on, it definitely, those tickets are going to be way up. If the Super Bowl is going to be in town, like the time, like in Vegas, like imagine going to Vegas. Remember how expensive the hotel rooms were whenever the Super Bowl was there?
Yeah, because we got there like the weekend before the Super Bowl, which, they were still in the process of getting everything ready, which we still got decent rooms for. But yeah, that weekend of the Super Bowl, I don't think you could stay in the state of Nevada for any kind of thing under $500 a night. But yeah, go ahead and try and find those cheaper flight options with Google Flights. And especially if you're okay, planning a cruise a little last minute, you could still book a cruise a month or two in advance if you just pay it all down right there. And that's usually when you get the best flight deals as well.
Yeah, and definitely let us know if y'all have any other cruise hacks that we don't know. Definitely comment on our Facebook page or YouTube channel, and we'll definitely bring them up on the next video.
Absolutely. And like I said, we are the Lido Loop. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you get your podcasts. Jesse, you did mention the Facebook page and the YouTube channel. I'm Jack. That's Jesse, and we will see you
on the Lido deck.
But not Flying Spirit anymore. Rest in peace.
Thank you for watching this episode of Lido Loop. Like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you're notified every time we post more content.